everyone, thanks for joining us for another Natural Shore Book Club. I'm Sarah, this is Martina.
Hello.
For the month of April, we are highlighting Landscaping with Native Plants of Minnesota by Lynn M. Steiner. This is just a really great manual for gardening with native plants, incorporating them in maybe small landscapes. And it really just covers everything from woodlands to prairies, water features, and everything in between.
Yeah, what I really pulled from the book, what stuck out most to me, the whole overview of the book, is Lynn mentions nature is the best garden designer, and that kind of inspired me, like, just to think of, to go out and hike and see how plants are naturally placed. She mentions a tip with nature arranges elements according to ecological principles. So like natural drifts of plants, clumps of plants. I thought that was really helpful in garden design. It's really a garden design manual. So it'll give you helpful tips if you're getting started with designing a garden. Yeah, she just gives a lot of good design principles. And also, she also mentions that it's a good idea to make a point of growing something new every year, so you can just experience that new plant and just learn from it and see what works, see what doesn't work. And by adding a new plant every year, I mean you're just increasing the diversity in your yard, which is great. Something we strive to do in our restorations too.
Yeah, and she kind of breaks down all parts of Minnesota, so it doesn't really matter where you are in the state. There's pretty good guides to plants that fit the Northwoods, or prairie, aspen parkland, or even down in the Twin Cities around the Big Woods area.
Yeah, she has some state county maps in her book for reference, and she kind of divides them into zones, I believe. And then she outlines like all the biomes we have here in Minnesota, so like the coniferous forest, which is in the northeast, the big woods, deciduous woods, which is kind of where we are, goes through a line southeast to northwest, aspen parklands, and of course the prairie. And what I learned from the book, which I thought was interesting, is that most of our prairie is actually mesic prairie. So it's not like that dry, sandy soil you mostly think about with the prairie. It's mostly moist, mesic prairie.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting. She talks a lot about soil preparation, and there's a really good guide to all the different things you can do to amend your soil. It's good to do a soil test before you do a big planting to see if you have anything missing or what can be added. Most plantings will benefit from annual composting or mulching to slow weed growth and just improve the soil.
Yeah, she mentions that soil usually is not what it used to be. So since we've had this influx of invasive plants and just noxious weeds, we kind of changed the soil chemistry in ways.
Yeah, another fun thing that she has in here is native plants to attract butterflies. She also has like a hummingbird guide as well. So I think like what we hear from a lot of clients is how can we have more butterflies? What about hummingbirds? So those are really great references.
Yeah, she really details it to what you want in your planting. And she also has some plant lists for each biome, which I thought was super interesting, so you can actually see those specific plants. She gives really good plant lists. I think we had most of the ones that she has, except for the coniferous forest, because that's way up there. But yeah, and also she will list some companion plants, so plants that go good together.
In chapter 5, she highlights a gallery of gardens, so you can see real-life examples of homeowners and landowners that have transformed their landscape into native plants, and that's just a really cool way to see native plants in practice and how they work in the landscape.
Yeah, and since it is an older book, 2005, she does recommend some non-native plants, like spring bulbs. And I mean, it's a little controversial, especially with nativars, which are cultivars of native plants. And we know now that nativars can actually pollute the genes of native plants, so they can kind of hybridize and change the deep gene sequence. So we wouldn't recommend that really. And also with nativars, it's usually changing like color of the flower or color of the leaf for aesthetic form. But if you think about it, that will affect the pollinators that use that plant for food, because that's really changing the chemistry of the plant, and they can't, I mean, it will just be different.
Yeah, it doesn't always serve the same purpose as the original native.
For sure.
Yeah, another cool thing, and something that's on our minds at Natural Shore, we're eager to get outside and start planting. She's got a good map of the USDA plant hardiness zones. Here in the Twin Cities, we're in zone 4A, so the last frost date is approximately May 10th on average. So that means we're getting close to being able to start planting. Our retail nursery will be opening May 14th and 15th. We're open a few Fridays and Saturdays throughout the year. 2 weekends in May, 2 weekends in June, and then one sale in July and one in August. We're open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we'll have a good selection of plants this year. You can check us out at naturalshorenatives.com to do online ordering if that fits what you like to do, and we even have curbside pickup available. So,
Yeah.
all right, so next month, for the month of May, our book club will be featuring Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. So,
Stay
join us
tuned.